On this episode of Apollonia's Adventures, I am interviewing a fellow Catholic writer, Amanda Lauer, who has written a series that takes place in the Civil War times. I really enjoyed them, and so I thought some of my readers might enjoy them too. So if you're interested in hearing her interview, stick around because that's what's coming up next. Guys, this is Ruth Apollonia. I am at the Catholic Marketing Network, and I am with Amanda Laure. Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
All right, awesome. I picked up the wrong notebook. Okay, and she is a fellow authoress, and she has written a series, a Civil War series, if you don't mind talking about that first.
Sure.
And I've actually read the first 2 books in the series, and I really enjoyed them. And so you want to explain a little bit about...
Yeah, basically it's a Catholic Christian Civil War series, obviously based during Civil War. Each book in the series starts in the year 1864 on approximately the same date and ends a year later. And each book has a male protagonist and a female protagonist, and every other chapter shows the war from their point of view. And so it's actually based on a true story, a friend's great-great-uncle's experiences in the Civil War. And it was just such a neat, interesting, inspiring story. I always said someone should write a story or write a book about that, and it turned out to be me.
Oh, very cool.
So,
very cool. I know from the first 2 books that the main protagonist in the second book was like mentioned in the first book.
Yep.
So each book is kind of like its individual story, but they're somehow connected.
Correct. Yep.
Does that go throughout the entire series?
Absolutely. So the first book is Nathan and Amira. And of course, I'm not going to be able to remember all these, since there's like so many books now. But then the gentleman who's the lead in the next one, he was Nathan's best friend, and by chance meets Amara's best friend from when she was in school. And then the third book, oh gosh, now I got to get these in order. Well, another one of the books is Amara's brother, is based on his life. One of the books, the next book that's coming out in October actually is a runaway slave who was actually an African princess, and she's got an intriguing story to tell. But she was someone who Amara had met, and Amara had helped her escape, basically helped a little bit in the so you remember her? Yep.
Awesome.
And the 5th book will actually be and one of the books too is Michael, who's Amara's brother. And then the last book that I have on the docket will be Michael's Nathan's younger brother. So yeah, they all kind of figure out, and they all kind of have their own experiences in the war, and they all meet in the end in a city in Texas, and establish this community for people of all races, whether they're African American, whether they're Native American, and they create this community and create lives for themselves.
Very cool. Awesome. So did you plan that? Like when you wrote the first book, did you have in mind, there's going to be this character that's going to show up in the second book?
No. Basically, I wrote I'm a journalist. I write for 3 newspapers, and I always wanted to write a book. And I wrote one book, and I thought my life was complete. And then like a week later, my friend called me up and said, "When's the sequel coming out?" And I said, "There's no sequel. There's just one book. I know about this guy. I know his story. The rest I made up." She's like, "Oh, but my grandma wants to know what happens to Dominic." I'm like, "I don't know what happened to Dominic. I really don't know what happened to him." And I'm like, it took me like 6 years to get this book out. She's like, "How old is your grandma?" She's like, 93. I'm like, "Oh my gosh. Like, what's the longevity in your life, family like?" And so consequently enough, I went to work. I did NaNoWriMo. That's when you get a book done, written in a month. And I did get the script done before her grandma did pass away.
Oh, wow.
But it was done before she died, so hopefully she got it before.
All right, awesome. And you won an award, right?
Yes, actually, the first book, A World Such as Heaven Intended, won the 2016 Kayla Award, Catholic Arts and Letters for Young Adult Fiction.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to say about the series before we talk about your
Yeah, I think, the really nifty thing about it is that men and women, young men, young women, love this book equally. It seems like because it's told in third person limited perspective. Every other chapter goes from the female protagonist to the male protagonist. So you're seeing the war from home front, and you're seeing the war from the battlefront. And so I think it appeals to so many people, so many ages. I mean, I've had young men as young as like 8th grade say, "This is my favorite book series ever," to even a priest who said, "You are my favorite Catholic author." And I'm just like, oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
That is such a compliment. So yeah, it's been such a joy. And I'm so glad it keeps expanding. And
Yeah, that is awesome. So 5 is your plan
I
right
think
now?
the 5 will be the plan. I don't know how many more people I can come up with that up in air, but and hopefully, God willing, that this becomes a series or a movie someday. So
Oh, awesome. That would be,
working at that.
yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
awesome. Very cool. There's something else I was going to say, but I forgot. So let's move on to your other book. Let's see, Anything But Groovy.
Yes.
So would you like to speak about that and
Yeah.
when it was released?
Yeah, Anything But Groovy came out this spring. I believe it was March. I have to double check. And it's a story basically. Well, originally was written as kind of a memoir of my 7th grade year and being bullied and all the things I went through, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? But after going to one of these writing conferences, another writer suggested that if I wanted to appeal to a wide range of audiences, so the teenagers who are 13 right now, all the way to baby boomers, that I should create like a book, kind of like a combo, Back to the Future versus Freaky Friday. So what happened, so how I rewrote the entire book was my supposed 13-year-old daughter in this day and age gets a concussion, wakes up in the house she always lived in, because she grew up in the house her mom lived in, but realizes she's in her mom's 13-year-old body and has to live one school year going through everything her mom did. And it's kind of because she's going through the bullying and trying to navigate the friendships. And the interesting thing is, because she lives in the same town her mom grew up in, some of those people still live there. And she knows how their lives turn out. And sometimes she wants to intervene, but she has no idea how long she's going to be there. So she tries not to, do anything crazy, yet still get by and not mess up her mom's life too badly.
Okay, awesome. So is there a main message or theme of your book to discuss?
Yeah, well, this book is, I think one of the things that I found is a lot of moms and daughters are together, and it really brings back the thing, like, you need to talk to people and see what their experience is, especially your moms or your dads or whatever. I had one gal read this, and I would guess she'd probably be in her 60s, and she said, I wish I would have had this book a long time ago, and I wish I would have asked these questions of my mom before she got Alzheimer's. Like, this would have been such great conversations with her. And so, yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing is, all these things have happened through the years, and they're still happening. And I think the one thing in the book is she probably could have asked for help, but she was embarrassed by being bullied. She didn't know the whole situation. And just ask. People are there to help, and people want help, so reach out.
Okay. I know you got to go soon. How can people contact you?
Yeah, the very easiest way is I have a website, amandalauer.com.
Do you want to spell that?
AMANDALAUER.com.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that quick interview that I did with Amanda Lauer. I just, pulled her to the side while we were at the Catholic Marketing Network conference. And I wanted to show you what her books look like, because I told you I read the first 2, so I have them here. So this is the first one, A World Such as Heaven Intended. And you can see this is the seal for the Catholic Arts and Letters Award, which she won in 2016. So as she said, this one is actually written off of a real person. The male character I don't, maybe the female also, but I know at least the male character was based off of a real person, and then the rest of them she made up. So the second one is A Life Such as Heaven Intended. There's the whole thing. And I looked on her website. It looks like there are 4 in the series. And on Amazon, it said the last one is Freedom as Heaven Intended. That was the African princess that is a slave and I guess gets her freedom. I haven't read that one. So, and I think it just came out on October 6th. So it's a really recent release. But on Amazon, it says it's 4 of 4. So I guess there's 4 books, not 5. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, also on her website, she has some trailers for the first 3 books, and they're really good. You should go and watch her trailers that are on her website. And I will take you to her website right now, just so you can see what it looks like. So this is her website, amandalauer.com. This is the home page, the About page, so you can read all about her on this page. And this will take you to her books. So this is the Heaven Intended series. So there are the first 3 books up there, and then underneath them, there's the description of them, and then there are the trailers, which are really good. And then this is the 4th book of Freedom Such as Heaven Intended. And then that's where you can watch the videos of the trailers. Now I'm going to go look at her new book, Anything But Groovy. So this is the book that's not a part of the series. Anything But Groovy. And there's a trailer there as well, which I didn't watch earlier, so I can't comment about that. And then she also has a blog here. Alright guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of meeting another authoress, fellow Catholic authoress. And if you feel inclined, go buy her books and read her books and leave reviews on them. I know she would gladly appreciate it.